voting. We won't back down. And I can promise you this, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you all.
Governor Ron DeSantis touting his administration's successes during today's State of the State address. The governor's big speech also kicking off the start of the legislative session at the state capitol.
CBS 4's Joe Gorcho joins us live in the studio with the latest developments out of Tallahassee. Joe.
Elliot, Lauren, Governor Ron DeSantis touts Florida as the best state, signaling his chief priorities. Now, one includes allowing Floridians to defend themselves as he supports open carry. According to the Giffords Law Center, Florida is one of 5 states that generally prohibit the open carrying of handguns. The current bill on the table, though, is permitless carry, allowing for concealed weapons without training or a license.
People want to know that, hey, this is a constitutional right. I shouldn't be put in jail because I'm exercising it. So I don't think it would change very much, but I do think it would just tell people, yeah, it is a right. How most people have viewed this over the years. They viewed open as less of an issue than the concealed. Why? Because if it's open, people can see what's there.
Democrats stand against it, and another bill filed Monday seeking to lower the age to buy a rifle or long gun to 18. Lawmakers in Tallahassee increased the age to 21 following the Parkland school massacre just 5 years ago.
It is very disheartening to see any rollback of that, since there is no evidence to show that the rollback will do anything to keep our schools safe.
Now, one of DeSantis' first points met with a standing ovation was pointing out what he says were the largest budget surpluses in state history over the last 2 years. And along with economic growth, he points to the state's approach to the pandemic, banning mandates on COVID vaccines.
We defied the experts. We bucked the elites. We ignored the chatter. We did it our way, the Florida way. And the result is that we are the #1 destination for our fellow Americans who are looking for a better life.
And in the State of the State, he shared his vision for education, from providing more school choice opportunities for Floridians to eliminating what he calls indoctrination in schools. He aims to better education by strengthening teacher pay and parental rights, while doubling down on targeting funding for diversity and equity programs at public universities. Democrats responded today by saying DeSantis is not focusing on the real issues impacting everyday Floridians, such as affordable housing and the rising insurance costs.
Ron DeSantis is so obsessed with woke that he's asleep at the wheel. I've not heard one constituent reach out to me about ESG or DEI. They reach out because they're afraid of the governor going after these bad policies. But what they're most concerned with are their high property insurance rates, high auto insurance rates, high health care insurance rates, and housing affordability overall.
On the insurance, we, of course, did 2 special sessions last year for homeowners insurance. There's going to be more insurance reform with the overall legal climate, but that clearly is driving increased costs.
And coming up at 6, we focus on a new abortion bill that was dropped in the House and Senate just minutes before today's State of the State address. Elliot, Lauren.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. Quite an eventful day. Our team coverage moves now to CBS 4's Jim DeFeedy.
Jim, what stuck out to you about the governor's State of the State address?
Well, you know, it's obviously this is his argument as to why he should be president, that he wants to be able to do for the country what he has done in Florida. You know, he's touting what he's done in Florida as being a good thing. Some would agree with that. Many would not. But the other thing that really caught my attention about the speech was the length of it. It came in right at 30 minutes. And, you know, one of the things that got picked up on a hot mic was when the governor was finished, he actually turned to the Senate president and said, I think that was faster than last year. I wanted it to be faster than last year, as if speed was the key to what he had to say. Now, I know that in a press conference he had after his State of the State address, he talked about that he would sign whatever abortion bill came his way. He would also sign whether it was open carry or permitless carry. He would sign those bills. Understand a little something about what open carry entails. You know, if you're comfortable seeing someone walking down the halls of the Publix or the aisles of a Publix with a rifle slung over their shoulder, that's what open carry would entail. And permitless carry means that anyone can carry a gun on their person, secrete it away in their car, in their purse, on their body, without having any training or any sort of a permit for it. So these are the types of issues that play well nationally for the Republican base. I'm not sure how well they actually serve Floridians.
I think a lot of Floridians would not be comfortable with that, but again, this will be up to the legislature, our elected officials, to decide. Now, is there anything you're watching closely that the rest of us should also be watching, Jim?
Yeah, so the one substantive bill that I think is important that is the bill dealing with affordable housing. It is a bill sponsored by the Senate President, Kathleen Passidomo, who comes from the west coast of Florida. I've interviewed her about this bill in the past. It's about 110 pages long, and it does seek a variety of solutions. I'm going to be following this one closely. It deals a lot with public-private partnerships to do more workforce housing. It also talks about trying to do more what commonly is referred to as infill, rather than do more sprawl by stretching out to the suburban areas. Let's say, like, for instance, building past further west than Kendall, trying to build up along the actual corridors of communities, and maybe turning some blighted areas where there is currently business, strip malls, maybe turning that into some workforce housing so that people can actually walk to work as opposed to get in their car. So that bill is a really important one. It's long overdue. Let's see how it looks at the end of the 60-day session, but that's the one I'm going to be looking most closely at.
All right, Jim, a lot of things we're going to be keeping an eye on. We're glad that you're going to be watching it all for us. Thanks so much for your insight tonight as things just get started with this legislative session.
Thanks, Jim.